Okay, hey folks, welcome to the SIG-Testing meeting. As usual, kicking it off with if there's anybody who wants to go ahead and introduce themselves, give a brief spiel about why you're here, feel free. Otherwise, we can go ahead and get on with the rest of the agenda. Cool. All right, I think we only have the one item from Arnaud today. Arnaud, do you want to go ahead and kick it off?
Yeah, I was out for like a few weeks. Just want to catch up on the prior migration. Do you need help from me? Anything? Or we just do the job migration, still doing the prior job migration?
I think, yeah, so I believe the current status at least is there is still the job migration to unblock the control plane migration. And I think the deadline set out for that is all of the jobs listed in the to do should be migrated over by August 1st, if I remember correctly. I believe Ben or other folks have sent out a notice about it. I will double check that to make sure I'm not just actually lying, but August 1st is the date that I remember. Included in that are basically a bunch of jobs that are not migrated for a couple of reasons. A lot of the SIG testing ones, for instance, are because they run on the trusted cluster and need a little bit more work to migrate them over. I think Ben and I have both been looking at that, and I do intend to get some more done on that this week. There's also a whole host that are blocked because of using odd resources or non-community owned resources. So I think those are in various states depending on what resources they are using. I'll also see if I can find the link for like the to-do that's being periodically updated. And I think could always use help from folks if you have like an area of either expertise or willingness to jump in and figure out what's needed to unblock those. Yeah. Oh, also good point. Yeah, some jobs are not going to be migrated either because it doesn't make sense or because they just aren't being migrated if the work isn't done to actually migrate them. Yeah, there's a couple of the ones in SIG testing as well where it's like some of them are going to be obsolete after the control plane migration, so they are just going to be dropped at the time of migration. There are some other ones that are I think the risk is if they are not moved to community-owned resources and those community-owned resources aren't spun up, then they are not being migrated either, for instance. But yeah, I think that's all I know of at the moment. I believe Ben has also been doing some planning about the actual migration itself, but I don't have a lot of details on that at the moment. So
That's okay. So I think we can like talk to SIG relays about the maintenance window we want to use because the release schedule for 131 is out.
oh, cool.
We basically feel like we can introduce that conversation with SIG relays and say, okay, after quota for 130, yeah, after release for 131 and quota for 132, we should like block that window of like 1 week, or let's say the last week of August to basically do the migration.
Mhm.
So we have like 1 month to make sure all the prior jobs are not running on the default cluster. And the trusted one, I'm not sure about that. We use the first week of August to like dry run the prior control plane migration. Okay.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds good. Do we have somebody on point to do so? Brady.
What do you mean endpoint?
I guess like if we should be discussing it with SIG release, does anybody like in particular want to make sure that that gets done or?
Oh, I can talk to them. I can talk to them next week. Yeah. The SIG release meeting is next week, I think.
Okay, cool. That sounds great. Yeah, anything else that folks want to discuss on this? Cool. I think with that said, that is technically the end of our agenda. If anybody has anything else they want to discuss, though, feel free.
Yeah, I have another topic, to be honest. It's not related to the previous one, but it's more an heads up, as it's something I have already done. And I'm not sure this is even the best place to discuss, but I don't think that Boscos, I mean the Pro component, has even a meeting on its own. So this is an heads up to say that yesterday I have upgraded the Golang modules on Boscos and also the Golang runtime. Now it's pointing to version 1.2022. So just to make sure that anybody around is aware of it, it's unlikely that I will break anything or anyone, but it's just an heads up. I noticed that the dependency were 4 or 5 years old, so I was in the middle of upgrading some stuff downstream that we haven't read that, and I required Bosco to be up to date as well. So I just went for it and updated the Golang runtime. So just in case, if you notice something wrong going on, you can reach out to me and I will try to troubleshoot it.
Cool. Arnaud?
Yeah, can you drop like basically the pull requests for that Go mode updating, SIG testing and tag Antonio and Ben, like just like double check. We basically provide some awareness to people and basically say, oh, this is happening.
All right, yeah, sure.
Take a look.
There are 2 requests that I opened yesterday, one on the Bosco repository, another one on the Kubernetes testing for repo, because I had to update the image that Bosco is using to run the test as well. So I'm gonna tag Ben and the other guy on those 2. Don't worry.
Okay.
Sounds good. I'm also, I just found the link from the email from Ben on job migration. Just posting it here for a reminder. Okay, cool.
Yeah, maybe shall another question on that topic if I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I just want to bring up the discussion about those updates, those upgrades. If you guys know any automatic way to upgrade a project out of the box without a human operator going there and running go-get and then module that you want to upgrade, or modifying the module itself to run the latest version of Golang. Because recently I'm facing this huge problem of upgrading projects that are just stuck at an old release of Golang. And as you might know, it's a huge pain whenever you want to jump from version X to version X plus 10, let's say. You have to carry on a lot of dependencies, you have a lot of breaking changes, you have a lot of stuff that is going south for whatever reason. I know that there exists a bot that is named Dependabot or something that is more related to the CVE. Anytime the bot notices that a module might suffer from a CVE, then it's gonna go and update that particular module or a library or whatever. I wonder if exists something similar for just updating any dependency in our project, just to keep the project healthy.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of, because I think the classic thing I've seen is that Dependabot doesn't work well for Go projects. Yeah, because like it will inevitably run into an issue with how it does it because it's not running the Go tools. And it's just, which means that it's a good reminder that you might need to update something, but then you have to go and manually do it anyway. Anybody else know of like automatic stuff in place for doing something similar with updating dependencies?
No. I don't know about anything, but I agree there are issues with Dependabot, specifically for Go. It works well for other languages, and Dependabot doesn't deal just with CVEs. Like it can bump any kind of dependencies, but it doesn't work well for Go. Also, my experience.
Yeah, I know that it's boring stuff because nobody is willing to just upgrade dependency in a project, but I mean, it's really important. Downstream, we are facing in a situation that we cannot even install a new dependencies because we have breaking change. So it might be an underrated activities, but to me, it's very crucial to keep the overall project healthy.
I think if we don't have a request for this already, this would be a good one to file, because I can't imagine something where we have a automated process at least do the basic thing of like try to do a Go update and run CI such that we verify that like that kind of change is breaking or not. With like whatever basic test makes sense for the repo. Even better if we can like verify that it's not gonna like break other things later, but that might be a little bit much of an ask. And we have like the image versions and whatnot to pin for that. I'm trying to think of like, for instance, we have an update on Bosco's, for instance, and then later discovered that like it has some kind of conflict with Crow or something that's only caught when the image like version is bumped, but that's a separate issue. Yeah, I think that would be a good request to make, and I think I have some ideas on how that could be done. But that sounds great for somebody to pick up, and we do still have people coming in and asking for like, what's a good first project for me to do on like SIG testing and whatnot.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, is that something that you'd be willing to take up, or do you want to have should we have somebody else just file?
No, I can do it on my own. I can file the issue on.
Sweet. And yeah, I think that and tagging with help on it sounds great. Cool. Yeah, any other topics folks want to discuss? All right, I think that sounds good. Thanks everybody for joining, and happy to give the time back with a short meeting, but good to see you all
You
around.
guys, see you.
Take care.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.